Now, the Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, had a much better week, though perhaps that's easier when the Labour government continues to punch itself in the face at the moment. Well, she's also made some rather strong allegations that the Prime Minister lied about the Peter Mandelson affair. The Shadow Education Secretary, Laura Trott, joins me now. Good morning, Laura Trott. Before we get on to the issue, the Mandelson question, can I just ask you about the 150,000 people on the demo in London yesterday, organised by Tommy Robinson? What's your reaction to that?
Well, there were obviously some horrendous incidents of violence against police officers, which were completely abhorrent. And I'm glad to see that action will be taken against those people. But there is clearly an issue in this country at the moment about immigration and migration. I think people feel let down by a government who came in and said that they were going to smash the gangs. And what we've seen is an increase in illegal migration. So this is a policy question which it's incumbent on all of us to solve. And we are not seeing the action from this government, which is distracted by scandal after scandal and unable to move, take any policy decisions, move on from just a rudderless Prime Minister.
Thank you. Let's talk about the Mandelson affair. Your leader says on social media that the Prime Minister's lying about, and I'm quoting here, what they knew regarding Mandelson's involvement with convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Are you saying that the Prime Minister misled the House of Commons?
Well, there are grave questions about the Prime Minister's judgment. This was a Prime Minister who stood on the steps of Downing Street and said that he was going to restore political integrity. And look where we are now. We've had 2 senior resignations in the space of the number of weeks. We had the outrageous situation this week where the Prime Minister and the Labour Party have defended appointing the best pal of a known convicted paedophile as US ambassador. The Prime Minister's authority is completely shot, and there are questions that he now has to answer, and his chief of staff, because we need to know, to your point,
I understand the
Trevor,
questions.
we need to know.
If I may say so, I understand the questions, and those questions are being asked by our panel here and others. I'm asking you about what your leader says. She specifically says that the Prime Minister is lying. She uses the word lying. Do you agree?
Yes, we need to understand if on Tuesday Peter Mandelson said that there was more to come out about what his relationship was with Epstein. The Prime Minister stood up in the House of Commons on Wednesday and defended his appointment of the best pal of a convicted paedophile to be US ambassador. Now,
when you
accuse
somebody of lying to the House of Commons, you know that that's quite a serious business, don't you? Does that is a resigning issue.
This is why we need transparency. We need to understand what was known and when. There was, according to Laura Kuenssberg this morning, a document from the Cabinet Office which was sent outlining the relationship between Epstein and Peter Mandelson.
Yes, well, forgive me, we knew all of that earlier on this week. We knew all of that this week. Either you are saying he lied, which of course should lead you to the conclusion that he should step down, or you are saying there are questions to be asked and answered, in which case your leader should not have accused him of lying before those questions were answered. Which is it?
No. Because on the face of it, if you look at the evidence that we have that is in the public domain so far, that is the case. Now, what we need is transparency from the government, because what we know is that Peter Mandelson on Tuesday said further documents were going to come out. We know that Bloomberg approached the Foreign Office, that was part of number 10, with this further cachet of documents.
Forgive me, but you're repeating,
possibly not have known?
You're repeating what you've said and what others have said. So, just to be absolutely clear, if you're saying yes, are you calling for the Prime Minister to resign?
We are calling for transparency, because if what we have just outlined is correct, then the Prime Minister did lie, and that is an extremely, extremely serious thing to have happened. There are some grave questions about the Prime Minister's judgment, and that we have a rudderless, a weak Prime Minister whose authority is shot at a time we can least afford it as a country.
OK, there's going to be a new ambassador in Washington. Would you be pleased to see Mr. George Osborne, whose name's been mooted, in that role?
Well, George is good at whatever job he does, but I think that this is a question for further down the line. At the moment, we have a process which has apparently been followed, according to the Prime Minister this week, which has led to the appointment of a best pal of a convicted paedophile being US ambassador. Until we know what went wrong with that process last time, I don't think we can be in a situation of talking about appointing a new one.
All right. This week's big government business will be the visit of the President of the United States. There will no doubt be talks about trade. The President wants us and the EU countries to ramp up sanctions against Russia, to take secondary sanctions against countries that are trading with Russia, which include China and India, probably some European countries as well. Will you support that?
I think we'll have to see what comes forward this week. This is a very important moment for the UK. There are some very important issues which are going on, huge issues facing our country that you've just outlined, which is why it is even more damaging to have a Prime Minister who is completely distracted by what is going on and trying to get himself out of yet another scandal. Right. And remember also, Trevor, that we have a deputy leadership election going on as well, whereby we have a member of the cabinet who is completely off for 6 weeks as well, who has just admitted this week that her policy is totally driven by the union. So we have these are important issues that you raise, but they are not the ones that the government is focusing on the moment.
Okay, that's the commentary is for us. Just very, very, very briefly, yes or no, will Mr. Trump be meeting the Conservative Party leader?
Sorry, say that again, I didn't hear that.
Will he be meeting Kemi Badenoch?
I don't know.
Okay, Laura Trott, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Lovely to speak to you as ever.